Obama graduated from Columbia in 1983 with a degree in political science, but few apparently remember him there.
We ended up speaking to more than 400 people who had graduated that year with Barack. They knew George Stephanopoulos, who graduated the year before, but not Barack.
According to Wayne Allen Root, a Columbia alumnus and former Republican candidate from Nevada, nobody at his 30th class reunion remembers a fellow graduate named Barack Obama. Perhaps it's to be expected that Mr. Obama wouldn't have time for the reunion, but Root says that no one at our 30th reunion ever met him. Like Obama, Root was part of a relatively small graduating class from the political science department. Not one of the speakers at the 30th reunion reminisced about my days with the future president. For some reason, Root concludes the President of the United States is the ghost of Columbia University.
Hi, this is Wayne Allen Root for Personal Liberty. I just returned from New York, where I attended my 30th Columbia University College reunion. I celebrated with my esteemed classmates, everyone except Barack Obama. As usual, he wasn't there. Not even a video greeting, not a personalized letter, nothing, nowhere to be found. But worse, no one at our 30th reunion has ever met him. The President of the United States is the ghost of Columbia University. Now, I'm certainly no Johnny-come-lately. For 5 years now, since 2007, when it became clear that Obama was running for president, I've been quoted in the media as saying that no one I've ever met at Columbia can remember ever meeting, ever seeing our college classmate Barack Obama. Don't you think the media should be asking questions? Isn't this a very strange story? Now, I'm a graduate of Columbia University class of '83. That's the same class Barack Obama claims to have graduated from. We shared the exact same major, political science. We were both pre-law. It was a small class, about 700 students. The political science department was even smaller and closer knit, maybe 150 students max. I thought I knew or met at least once, or certainly saw in class every fellow political science classmate in my 4 years at Columbia. But not Obama. No one ever met him. Even worse, no one even remembers seeing that unique, memorable Obama face. Think about this for a minute. Our classmate is the President of the United States. Shouldn't someone remember him? Or at least claim to remember him? One of the speakers at the 30th reunion should have reminisced about my days with the future president. But no one did. You'd think Obama might have sent a video to tell us all how much he enjoyed his time at Columbia. You'd think he'd have sent at least a letter to be read aloud from one of his former college buddies, right? But he didn't, because Obama has no former college buddies. No one that ever met Obama, let alone befriended him, was in attendance at our 30th class reunion. Now, you might argue this is all strange, but it's possible. After all, Columbia says he graduated, and I take my college's word for it. Would one of the world's greatest Ivy League institutions participate in a cover-up, thereby risking their billion-dollar reputation? And there is one single article written for the Columbia newspaper called The Sundial with Obama's name on it. A single photo also exists of Obama in his Manhattan apartment with the man he claims is his college roommate, a Pakistani foreign student. USA Today describes Obama's roommate as a pot smoker, a cocaine user, and a foreign student. Isn't that lovely? And one single radical leftist Columbia professor who hates Israel also claims he remembers Obama. Quite a crew in the Obama camp, huh? Hard to even believe. That's the sum total of Obama's proof of existence at Columbia University class of '83.
Donald Trump's former campaign manager, Corey Lewandowski, has revived old birther conspiracy theories about President Obama. He suggested he didn't release his Harvard transcript as a candidate because it may have shown he was not born in the U.S. The conversation on CNN Tonight with Don Lemon began with commentator Angela Rye noting that Trump has been attacking Obama since before the election season. Lewandowski said, Did he ever release his transcripts from Harvard? You raised the issue.
Saw what happened back in 2008, I believe that's when it started, when the media decided to just go along to get along with Obama, ingratiating themselves with him and vice versa. What we saw was these attempts to destroy the whistleblowers, those who were telling the truth even in the campaign, those who were bringing up the name Jeremiah Wright and the racist church that he leads that Obama was a member of for over 20 years. Though I was, during the campaign running for VP, I was banned from talking about Jeremiah Wright and Obama's friend Bill Ayers, who is the character that he befriended and kicked off his political campaign in the guy's living room. Couldn't talk about that. Couldn't talk about Obama's lack of knowledge and job experience and the things that he said, like America had 57 states, things like that in the campaign. Greta, this is important for Americans to understand. I was not allowed to talk about things like that because those elitists, those who are the brainiacs in the GOP machine running John McCain's campaign at the time, said that the media would eat us alive if we brought up these things. So what did that get us, though? What that got us, this kind of complacency and a self-censoring of a campaign where we weren't allowed to tell the truth about who this candidate was, Barack Obama, what it got us was a list of these scandals. This is kind of the redneck version of one of those elitist tactics of Karl Rove, how he uses his whiteboard. This is the redneck version of a whiteboard. And on this lists the scandals that are destroying America, Greta.
The only people who don't want to disclose the truth are people with something to hide.
Sheriff Joe Arpaio says he suspects President Obama's birth certificate is a fake.
We believe probable cause exists indicating that forgery and fraud may have been committed.
Arpaio says his team of volunteer investigators believes President Obama's birth certificate is computer generated, and they say they have a person of interest that may be involved in that hoax.
So what is next? CBS 5's Heather Moore has been trying to get the answer to that question all night. Heather, what did you come up with?
Well, Catherine Encina, the sheriff says maybe Congress needs to take this on next. It all started up again when the Tea Party of Surprise asked Sheriff Joe Arpaio to investigate. He in turn asked his volunteer cold case posse to dig in. Now, we spoke with the head of that team this afternoon who refused to talk to us about that so-called person of interest. However, he did say this may be the biggest scandal perpetrated on the American people. One of the biggest scandals, rather, perpetrated on the American people.
Oh my God. Nobody wanted this. Nobody wants to think this is happening, in their country.
Lead investigator Michael Zullo claims the group didn't set out to take down the president.
Our goal in the beginning was to prove this document authentic. The problem is the evidence kept taking us somewhere else.
He says it took 6 months and 2,200 hours to come to the conclusion that President Obama's birth certificate from Hawaii, released by the White House last April, was manufactured.
It never was a paper document. It was literally created in the mind of a computer and resides on cyberspace.
The White House responded today by pointing to the president's comments last year regarding the same issue.
We're not going to be able to solve our problems if we get distracted by sideshows and carnival barkers.
This is your face, your reputation, your name in the front of this investigation. How comfortable are you making these allegations?
I'm very comfortable because we did seek the advice of experts regarding this. You can build the document. We could take the document apart out of the same file released by the White House. You can't do that if you just scan in a birth certificate or any other document.
What do you say to the naysayers? And there are a lot of critics out there saying this is all, a bunch of BS.
Prove it. We did. We proved our point. That document's created.
And from here, Sheriff Arpaio may look for a congressional investigation. We reached out to every member of Arizona's congressional delegation in Washington today. Only Representative Jeff Flake's office got back to us saying that he believes that President Barack Obama is a U.S. citizen and was born here in the United States. Reporting live in Phoenix, I'm Heather Moore, CBS 5 News.
Heather, thank you. So, how did they reach that conclusion? Here's more now from Investigator Zulu at today's press conference.
Mr. Obama's birth certificate, there are approximately 8 or 9 links and layers. Links and layers are indicative of a document being built.
The birth certificate was compared to a controlled document that investigators scanned into a computer. After close examination, Zulu said there were several inconsistencies between the two. One had to do with the so-called green safety paper. Investigators say it should be seen on the onset of the birth certificate, but they determined it was the last element applied to the document. Zulu also claims the register and date stamps can be moved around. He says if the document was authentic, you wouldn't be able to do that.
Whoever created this document imported that register stamp and that date stamp, laid it on a white background, and then filled in the green safety paper around it.
Zulu tells us Obama's birth certificate failed every test they put it through. All 6 videos explaining the steps of the investigation were uploaded to YouTube by the user Tea Party Power Hour.
I have been very clear on this. I have said that I am not a supporter of gay marriage. I think that the term marriage itself has strong religious roots and a strong tradition that means something special to people in this country. I have to tell you, as I said, I've been going through an evolution on this issue. I've always been adamant that gay and lesbian Americans should be treated fairly and equally, that I think same-sex couples should be able to get married.
Problem in this country, it's called Muslims. We know our current president is one. Right. You know he's not even an American.
We need this
birth
question.
certificates, man.
Which passages of Scripture should guide our public policy? Should we go with Leviticus, which suggests slavery is okay? Or we could go with Deuteronomy, which suggests stoning your child if he strays from the faith? Or should we just stick to the Sermon on the Mount, a passage that is so radical that it's doubtful that our own Defense Department would survive its application? Folks haven't been reading their Bible.
This is a sad day for the United States. Those words from a local official in Chattanooga, Tennessee, reacting to the murder of 4 Marines.
city of Chattanooga.
I am angry.
It's got to be really hard. I don't think there's anything worse. How are you holding up?
I'm doing the best that I can.
For me, that would make me angrier if it was my son.
I am angry, but I'm mourning the loss of my son. I am angry, but
Sure.
I'm mourning.
Have you heard from the president?
No.
Does that surprise you?
No.
The same White House that I didn't even see the flags at half-mast, did you?
I know that some states are doing it.
I'm talking about Washington.
But no.
Is this the same White House that put out statements about Ramadan?
I believe so.
Tell us what you would say to the president. This is the commander-in-chief. Statements on Ramadan, rainbow colors. What would you say to him if you could?
Sean. I can't answer that.
You do know.
I can't answer that.
You don't want to say it on TV.
Correct.
I understand.